On Friday night show here, you may remember us reporting on a sort of disturbing finding related to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. This photo that we showed on Friday night show is the badge of D.C. Metropolitan Police Officer Michael Fanone, who was injured in the Capitol attack. His badge was recovered by the FBI after it was dug up out of a man's backyard in Buffalo, New York. Now, according to prosecutors, Thomas Sibik of Buffalo, New York, went to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. He participated in the attack on the Capitol, and he specifically participated in a Trump supporter mob attack against Officer Michael Fanone. In that attack, the officer was dragged into the mob. He was beaten severely. The mob tried to grab his pistol and screamed that they would kill him with his own gun. The police officer described hearing the mob shout that at him. There is corroborating evidence that has also been cited by prosecutors of that. The mob did not end up shooting the officer with his own gun, but they did end up tasing him multiple times in the neck from close range. The officer was rendered unconscious. He suffered a heart attack. He was hospitalized. Prosecutors say in the midst of that attack, it was Thomas Sibik of Buffalo, New York, who ripped Officer Fanone's badge off, as well as his police radio. He then, according to prosecutors, repeatedly lied about that to investigators, but then ultimately they did recover Officer Michael Fanone's badge buried in Thomas Sibik's backyard in Buffalo, New York. So we reported on this case on Friday night after we got hold of the court documents in this case, in part because they were so dramatic and in part because it appears to go some distance toward explaining, if not solving, the case of the nearly fatal attack on that particular D.C. police officer. But to be honest, we also covered that court proceeding on Friday night because of the surprising development that after recovering Officer Fanone's badge buried in this guy's backyard, after identifying this guy as one of the mob who allegedly attacked this officer and then lied about it to investigators, and then took home the trophy that he stole from the officer in the attack to bury it in his yard, after hearing about all of that and seeing all the evidence prosecutors presented about that, after Thomas Sibik was charged with assaulting this officer, the judge hearing Thomas Sibik's case, after he was arrested Friday night in Buffalo, let Thomas Sibik go home. Prosecutors asked for Sibik to be held in jail pending his trial. The judge said, no, he's free to go home, no problem. That was part of why we covered that on Friday night, because that was such a surprising decision that somebody implicated in crimes that violent and that serious, targeting a police officer, would be set free on their own recognizance. Well, we have an update for you on that tonight. Today, the chief judge of the Federal District Court in Washington, D.C., Chief Judge Beryl Howell, overruled that decision, reversed it, and has in fact now ordered that Thomas Sibik does have to wait in jail while his charges are pending. So he is no longer free on home confinement. So there's that. There's been a number of these cases now where local judges in the places where Capitol rioters were arrested, they immediately moved to let the defendants go, to let them go spend their time at home. This is at least the fifth case now where we know a federal judge in D.C. has had to wade in and overrule a local judge's decision, so these Capitol riot defendants actually do have to stay in jail.